Hi everyone, I'm Natty from Yarrow City, and today I'm going to talk about how to grow a lot of turmeric, how to be successful in growing turmeric, especially if your season is short. Today I'm going to show you the different stages of growing turmeric and when best to start your turmeric rhizome. Let's go. For the last 3 to 4 years, we've solely been growing from the previous year's harvest. So we're able to grow turmeric for our year-long use. And here's how we do it. First, I'm going to show you where we start, and that is with the rhizome that's ready to be planted. Here's how you know when a rhizome is ready to be planted. In this pot right here, I have a few turmerics from our harvest last season. These are turmerics that we harvested that we were like, oh, these are tiny, let's throw them to the side. But also those throw to the side turmerics come in handy for the next year's harvest, because that's what we planned. So all the turmerics we have in our yard this year were started from this harvest. When your turmerics are shriveled up and starting to show like signs of age, it's aging, that's when your turmeric is most likely to send up a sprout, a growing sprout. So what we do is put it in a dry, dark and cool place and keep it like that. We put it in a paper bag and allow it to get old and shrivel. It's very easy to get a turmeric rhizome from the store and be like, oh, this plump turmeric is perfect, I'm going to start it. What you actually want to do is put it in a dark place, as I said before, room temperature, and allow it to get old and shriveled. And that's when the rooting, the growing hormone, the rhizome itself is getting like less. It has less energy reserve. So it's like, I'm running out of energy. I need to grow so I can put more energy in its roots. So that's kind of what you want to do. And then you want to fill up a container. I'm starting with this size container, which is like a pint. I have different examples, like we threw this in a metal tray. It doesn't have drainage, but I just watered it very seldomly. Or you can put it in this size container, whatever you have that's convenient for you. And usually I'll halfway fill this and put the rhizome. You want a mix that is free draining, you know. You don't want something that's going to keep too much moisture, because turmeric rhizomes do not like that. So I'll fill it to here and I'll put it like this. And then cover it like 2 inches deep. It may take a couple months before you see it piercing the soil, which it might look like. So you'll see this little guy sprouting, and then it might take like 5 months to get here. But one of the tricks with turmeric is like, forget about it. Let the soil dry out between watering. You want to give it a real nice water, allow it to drain. And I'll allow that to drain, and then I'll allow the soil to dry out in between watering, so I won't keep the rhizome moist. And that's different from other seedlings that you may start. You know, other things do not want to dry out, but turmeric and ginger wants to be dried out in between waterings. So after a few months, hopefully a few months, it could take more than that, you'll get a nice young turmeric plant. And for us, sometimes we try to overwinter it. It's not always successful, which is why you want to give yourself an advanced start. So in January, start putting in a rhizome and keep it in a warm place so that the turmerics can grow up. But turmerics are very temperamental too, because ours at one time took like 5 to 6 months to come up. So do not be discouraged. Just do what your necessary chores, like making sure that you water it once in a while, make sure that it's warm where you have it, and make sure that when it's come up, it's getting good light. It does not like the cold. Turmerics do not like it cold. They do not like cold weather. So if you're overwintering and you see your turmeric struggling and going into dormancy, do not try to fight it. let it go and let it spring back up, because when it's warm it will come back up if you make sure not to overwater that substrate so that the rhizome does not rot. If the rhizome does not rot or get cold and rot, then it will spring back up. And then at the start of the season, when it starts getting a little bit warm, I'll bring them out like in April, let them feel on a warm day, let them feel the elements, and then by May we put them in containers. And I think that's one of the benefits with growing in containers. You're able to put a plant like turmeric out in the yard before it's actually, the soil is actually warmed, because the container plants, you know, it gets warmer there, so it's easier for the plants to acclimatize to where you are. Like if we show turmerics that are in the ground, they are not as vigorous as the ones that are in bags or containers. It's a privilege in our zone, and we're in zone 7A Maryland, to have turmerics that grow and get mature, so that we can harvest and cure. So what trick we do is we're always planting turmerics. We're always putting in rhizomes. Like we have these lying around. We have a few more. There's actually a pot in that in that bag of turmeric. There's another tiny pot like this with another turmeric. Ooh, here it is. Beautiful. And this was one of the super late ones that took like 6 months to come up. And we just like, you weren't ready when we were ready for you. So it's one of the late ones. If it makes it and overwinters, then that's nice. But if it doesn't, then, you know, that's why we keep planting. And here we have another source from our harvest last year that we'll keep planting. One of the reasons we grow in bags is because of the drainage. The fabric bags are free draining, and plants like turmeric prefers that. They need a well draining soil to grow in and to be healthy and not have root rot. And I think the bags work well, so that's kind of why we have them growing in bags instead of in the ground. Here is very loamy, wet, moist soil, and turmerics don't thrive in that. We do, however, because of the free draining element of these bags, we do mulch heavily so that we aren't watering a lot, so it retains moisture but not too much. I think one of the blessings about growing this plant is that we're able to like be self-sustaining in turmeric, and that's kind of like a cool thing. And we're able to be kind to our friends and our neighbors and our family, like, because we have an abundance of it. So try our tips. I hope they work for you, and if you have any questions, drop it in the chat. But last year's harvest is still around, and I'm so proud of how much work and how much harvest we've been able to get from these bags. So this is from last year's harvest, but check out this shot of last year's harvest. Happy growing.